Slowly he backs up. Slowly, very slowly, he gingerly sits down. I want everyone to know that you don't have hemorrhoids, you have a bad back. I think it's very important to be clear about these things.
And you mock me.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's Rowdy.com Big 3 pre-chase edition, sitting with Buzz Cutler. Bassmasters, we're talking NASCAR racing, and Cutler, the playoffs finally start Sunday afternoon.
So it's not, is it still considered pre-chase?
I guess, I don't know. The playoffs are beginning, let's talk playoffs.
Yes, let's talk New Hampshire Motor Speedway, a short track, relatively flat track in the Phoenix-Martinsville family. Couple of obvious keys. Track position, getting through the corners. You want to take one of those?
Well, I really think the center of the corner is a big key here, and getting off. I mean, Jeff Burton actually told us this very morning from the racetrack, used to be, Cutler, you could kind of give up the center, get in there pretty hard, and get off pretty hard and win this race. Not anymore.
When I was winning a lot of races here, the strategy of winning this race and going around this racetrack fast wasn't really about the center of the corner. It was, get in the corner deep, get off the corner fast. And you kind of gave up the center of the corner. Well, you can't do that anymore. Today, drivers have learned to carry speed to the center of the corner. They've asked their cars to carry speed. Teams have started working on that. So that strategy has changed.
And of course, you want to get through the corner without having to rely on the brake to do it. I mean, you're going to use brake. It's a short track. It's a flat track.
It's like a big Martinsville, so you are going to be on the brake.
But if you rely on your brake, you're going to burn them out. And the guys who aren't using their brakes to get through the corners are going to have more forward bite and get off the corner before you.
Well, I think that's the thing. You think about these long straightaways and the flat turns. You're going to be hauling the mail pretty good down the straights. Then you're going to head off into a very flat corner, and it's tough not to use too much brake. But the other thing is you want to get in there easy enough so you can roll the center. But then you got to be able to get back on the gas. Listen to Clint Boyer talking about how you beat people off the corner here.
It's a heavy braking track, don't get me wrong, but the cars that win there, the cars that run well, get off the corner. They beat everybody to the gas, like they said, and don't beat them into the corner. They beat them off the corner. And the guys that win races, that's what they do there.
Now, I guess key number 2, Bass, is going to be track position.
Yep.
Because this is a short track. It's not the easiest place in the world to pass.
Now, technically, we should be clear. It's technically not a short track.
I consider this a short track.
It's a big short track. Any driver will tell you it runs like a big short track.
And it's not the easiest place in the world to pass. If you don't qualify well, you're going to have to figure out a way to get track position, even if it means doing it in the pits. But a good starting position is going to give you a better chance to bring it home in victory lane.
Well, the thing is, you are running pretty fast down the straightaway. I don't know that aerodynamics is huge here, but it could be big enough to help you out enough in the corner to get through there a little better. So track position's key because of aerodynamics and just simply because, as you say, it is hard to pass here. I think, when you look at it from a chase perspective, you start to think about guys maybe missing the setup and what they're going to have to try to do to get back up there and get a decent finish, maybe not a win, but a decent finish out of it, because they don't want to get too far behind too early. And that's the other thing, is we've seen guys come in here and have a bad race. Now, one of them, Jimmie Johnson, has gone on to win the title. But you get behind here, and it kind of screws things up. Not that it can't be done. You don't want to start to chase off that way if you're someone like a Kyle Busch who's done it before, or a Denny Hamlin who's the favorite this year.
And the other thing that Jimmie Johnson said, which I think is interesting, is this is one of the hardest tracks to sort of balance a long-run setup versus a short-run setup. So if you get off a little bit, and this is a track where you're going to expect some cautions, that could come into play.
Could come down when you think about it. Double file restart towards the end of the race, a very flat track, tough corners. That could be a very, very key moment at this race. All right, who you got as far as a winner goes?
Well, it's interesting because obviously guys like Denny Hamlin are going to be on the top of your list, but he struggled here back in the spring. Mike Ford said they're really not sure why. Clint Boyer, another guy you'd expect to be a favorite here, doesn't quite have the winning speed that you'd want to see going into this race. Your obvious pick then is Jimmie Johnson, but I'm going to actually pick the guy who came in second to Johnson back in June, the guy who has 11 top 10 finishes in the past 14 races, Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart's a decent pick here. I look at Richmond a little bit.
Thank you for that.
No, you're welcome. I look at Richmond a little bit, and that points you to Denny Hamlin, and it points you to Kyle Busch. But you know what? The RCR cars are bringing brand new chassis here. And if they're better than what they were, remember how well Jeff Burton ran here. Really maybe should have won this race.
But doesn't a new chassis kind of scare you?
Well, it should scare you a little bit, but sometimes when you scare yourself, that's when you actually get the best out of life, Cutler. So I'm going to go with the 31 car. I think
Really?
Jeff Burton is poised to regain some of his former prowess here. Now he understands how you got to run the new New Hampshire,
Yeah,
not the
but
old New
his
Hampshire.
former prowess was during the Roush years.
Oh, I agree, but Jeff Burton has a thing for this racetrack. He's smart. He's got a new chassis. He almost won in the spring. To me, that all adds up to Jeff Burton.
Neither
you
of us-
can't argue me out of it.
Neither of us are picking Jimmie Johnson.
Because we're idiots, all right? That has been your Rowdy.com Big 3 for today. Do join us at Rowdy.com. Very shortly will be the new Rowdy.com.
Maybe even by the time you're watching this
Maybe
video.
even by the time you're watching this video. So you'll be able to talk racing there as always, but also some other sports too. And of course, eventually, Cutler, we'll have some other content. But for right now, you will enjoy all the racing content you've grown to know and love on Rowdy. So don't worry about that going away. We'll be here talking racing
Right.
as always.
And sleep well.
sitting here.
You may sleep well at night knowing that we're never going to leave you.
Exactly. We're just going to sit here now as evidence thereof.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.
Yep.
Still sitting.
Still sitting. Just to prove it that we're loyal. An elephant's loyal 100%.
I thought it was faithful.